we go.
beloved companies in gaming.
Yes,
They
there
were the
was.
masterminds who made one of the biggest games of all time. They basically created esports as we know it, and
yeah,
then
StarCraft.
they tried to change what it meant to be an esports pro forever. But as poor decision after poor decision began to unravel the community's trust in their favorite developer, the ugly truth became obvious.
It is a company that is so far out of touch and so corrupt that it's gross.
Because there were signs things were a little bit weird.
Like most
we were
American
being
companies.
told everything was going great.
It is not fun. It is not skill. It is fucking bullshit. The agency alleges that male employees play video games during the workday while delegating responsibilities to female employees, engage in sexual banter, and joke openly about rape, among other things.
All of this is awful to hear about, and it's completely normal to feel hurt and betrayed and disgusted, especially from a company like Blizzard that many people still idolized and aspired to.
The Blizzard...
Big exaggeration there. Exaggeration. First of all, you had these scandals on like almost every American based company, especially California. Let's be real. And also, in my opinion, if the game was good, people wouldn't care about it so much. They would still care. They would still say, oh, this is wrong. So they'd be like, oh, this is disgusting. But I doubt there would be like this outcry. If the games were good, you would not care. Most people wouldn't give a fuck. See, people are equating like the 800 people that were fired in like their French offices as this is why the game sucks. They had nothing to do with the game. You know, shit like that. It's like the... what's it called? The reason Warcraft 3 Reforged sucks has nothing to do, for example, with the lawsuits. That was completely different department, but people added on to it. It's like, well, this is why your games suck, right? I don't even know if the department that had all of these harassments was like the department in World of Warcraft that is in charge of like the, what's it called, the story, the lore, or the questing. Like, which department in World of Warcraft had this problem? I have no idea. It is in World of Warcraft though. So it's like, you know. Anyways, it's fucked up, but it's like no one would care if the game was good. Like I would say, majority of people would not give a shit.
We all knew and
And also, the hypocrites that say that they care and are still supporting the game as if like, oh, I'm supporting the devs by giving money. You don't support the devs that way. You are not supporting devs by giving Blizzard money, because it's not like they're raising the fucking hourly wage on the employees because people are still paying them. They don't give a fuck. And you think that if you stop paying them, Blizzard will be like, well, you know what? We're shutting down World of Warcraft and everyone's fired. Dude, that's not going to happen. They're going to try and reclaim it. They're going to try and do more. And they're not going to fire all the devs for that. So if you're still supporting Blizzard and you're talking all this shit, fuck off. Like, it's bullshit.
Died a long time ago.
You don't actually care. You're just an hypocrite. So stop saying like you actually care. Like it's like so bad. Obviously you can care, but it's like people are taking it way overboard.
To please sub to the channel and turn on notifications if you haven't done it yet, because it really does help.
If the video is good, I will.
Back in the day, Blizzard was on top of the world. An entire generation of gamers grew up playing Warcraft, Diablo,
Hell yeah, brother.
Every new release wasn't just a hit, it was a revolutionary new approach to a genre. Blizzard's name on any game was basically ironclad proof of quality.
They always had the reputation too, where it was like, we'll release it when it's ready. And it was kind of a joke in the gaming community, right? Because like it's like, oh, it's delayed. But you knew when it came out, it was going to be really good. So it was worth it, you know?
All over the world, Blizzard's games were changing the industry. StarCraft became a huge hit in Korea, leading to the development of a massive esports scene that eventually went global.
The team is trying to create the most serious, intense strategy game they possibly can. And there was no sort of expectations. And then I think Blizzard became very aware, oh, this is what this could be.
And years later, with the launch of the Overwatch League, it seemed like a career in esports wasn't just possible, it was basically like landing a spot on a professional sports team.
Yeah.
These guys are getting paid to do this. The league minimum is 50 grand a year? Yes.
And how high does it go potentially?
So
high as you
there
want.
currently isn't a salary cap. So the scale is as good as, and is,
LeBron.
to me, demand of the players. So the reality is, I don't see these guys any different, and these players any different than a LeBron James, a Stephen Curry. They are the elite of the elite at what they do globally.
For years,
Yep.
no
They actually,
one could compete
they
with
should be
Blizzard.
making, in my
Their
opinion,
games had
eSports by far has the potential to make way more money than any other sport, like physical sport. Soccer is mostly, I mean, soccer is probably the most global sport you can find, but soccer has I think it's more seasonal. Like you have the FIFA, you have the World Cup, but seasonal, right? It's like once a year or whatever. So once a year of that and once a year of that. So it's like twice a year you have a competition. You can have a competition for esports. Also, you can have one player be exceptionally good for Dota and exceptionally good for League, for example, and he can participate in both. You do not have this in regular sports. If you're good at soccer, you're good at soccer. You don't spend time on what's it called? You don't spend time on basketball. Also, streaming. If you're like top player, people watch your stream just by default. They want to see how you play, especially if you're entertaining. That's a bigger boon. But it's like people want to see what you're doing. I haven't seen a League game with Faker since the Z thing, when Faker became Faker. You still hear about Faker. Faker is playing this now in mid. Faker's doing this. Faker's doing that. How the fuck do you hear about Faker when you don't even I don't even know if he still competes, right? Because he's just that good. Do you hear anything about? I don't know. I don't even know who soccer players are, but like let's say when Ronaldinho was like the shit. You didn't hear about him outside of like championships. Like, yeah, he's a great player, but that's it. No championship, you don't care. These guys can play every day. You can see them play. They show you what they're doing. You can learn from them throughout the year, 365 days a year. You can learn from them. You can't do that with soccer. So in my opinion, esports has a far better reach, far more consistent reach, and in my opinion they can also diverge into other games. A pro player in League can diverge into Dota. A pro player in StarCraft can go into Warcraft as well, into Age of Empires, because these are all strategy games. There are subtle differences, but for the most part, the thinking, the way you're acting, the way you're moving your units, one can integrate the other. Shooters are like the easiest one. A good player in COD is a good player in Battlefield, a good player in CS:GO is a great player in Valorant, right? Shit like that. So you can go into like multiple esports, make a lot more money than you would with like regular sports, in my opinion. So their gap, like the best player in League would probably make more money than LeBron at later on, not League, but like whatever is going to be the esport of the meta, you know. Yeah. Yeah, in my opinion, esports overall by far more money than regular sports potentially. Maybe not right now, but in the future, 100%. There's no physical limitation. You don't expire. A lot of players can play into their 50s and 60s. They might not be as fast as like someone who's like in their 20s, but their experience would still play a massive role. Or they can become coaches. I don't know a lot of and like if you're a really good player in video games, you can probably be a pretty good coach overall, but you can't be that good of a coach in physical sports, mostly because that requires understanding of other people's like physiology and shit like that as well, and what ticks them. With gaming, it's I think a very different territory.
legions of adoring fans all over the
I
world.
think.
A ton of exciting new projects were coming down
Yeah,
the pipe.
BlizzCon was the
and
shit.
for many of Blizzard's employees, working for them
I
was
wish
a
I
literal
ever had the
childhood
chance to go,
dream
but
come
it is
true.
what it is.
And all of a sudden, this email pops up, and it's from Blizzard Entertainment, and I'm like, and it was a recruiter here, and he said, would you be interested in taking our test for Blizzard Entertainment? I was like, yeah, it's been my dream job since I was 12 years old.
I was doing 10 lunges
But
each.
it turns out that behind the scenes, that dream was more of a nightmare.
That's bullshit.
And the cracks in the facade
Depends.
began to show a lot earlier than many of us realized. In 2008, Blizzard merged with Activision,
That's
creating
not good,
a new
yeah.
entity known as Activision Blizzard. But
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't just
probably
the
a shitty
company's
move, but
name
it is
that
what it is.
changed. See, even while Blizzard were releasing some of their biggest, most beloved games, it seemed like they were getting further and further away from their founding principles. Games for gamers, by gamers, where every voice mattered.
I love what you guys done with Little Crest. I love the fact that you have a lot of very strong female characters. However, I was wondering if we could have some that don't look like they've stepped out of Victoria's Secret's catalog.
I do not agree with her. First of all, there are dwarves, gnomes, tauren, goblins, the fat humans, whatever they're called. Borealis? No, fuck, what? Where are they from? Whatever, the Zandalari, the BFA zone for the Alliance, right? Who else do we have? Tauren, gnomes, trolls. Like all of these are not attractive, and then you have like the allied races and stuff that you can go on. None of them are attractive female characters. Which like the question he asked now, which magazine? It's the best question. I love that people are clapping, but like look at the guys in the back. They're like, dude, who gives a shit?
Wait. Which catalog would you like them to step out of?
See, that's a good question because he didn't really answer the question. He misdirected. Which catalog? What do you want? You want the 2021 health catalog where the female in the front is obese and says it's healthy? Why? Also, don't forget, majority players of MMORPGs are dudes. That's how it is. Why would you make like super ugly characters? Why is the question only about females? Why blood elf males don't look good to you? Right? Humans, fucking muscle man, right? Tauren males, orc males, they're all fucking juiced up the gills with fucking roids, right? Even this is the funniest thing. You have more male characters that look good than female characters. Male dwarves look very decent, even though they're very short. They like you look at them, they have like the dead butt, but they have massive arms, muscular arms. So I would say they already look on a different level than female dwarves. Gnomes, I mean, it's a creation of its own. Goblins, a creation of its own. And trolls are still shit. But male tauren look better than female tauren as far as like aesthetics. Male orcs versus female orcs look better. All the sexy races, the man and the female are on the same level, right? So we already have 2 or 3 more levels, more races for males that look better than their female counterpart. Such a dumb fucking thing to ask. Show me an MMORPG where the characters don't look attractive, right? When not like, yeah, you're gonna have some that like don't look attractive, but show me an MMORPG where all of the characters are not attractive. Heck, show me most games where the main character is not attractive. That is such a dumb take. And also, using this example here is, in my opinion, a very dumb take by the guys who produced this. Yeah, we what's it called? We objectify women and we objectify men. Get over it. It's a video game. No one cares.
Blizzard was slowly but surely
Plain
losing
first-person
the
view,
people
if it
they
bothers
made
you.
their games for, and tone-deaf decisions followed one
Bullshit.
after another.
If that take is about the previous video, they know exactly who it's for, and it's for juvenile men. And that's exactly who the crowd is. Geeks, juvenile men that didn't have success with women while they were growing up because they're fucking geeks who play MMORPGs that at that time was viewed as being a fucking nerd, okay? Now being nerd is cool. Back then, nerd was not cool.
It is a company that is so far out of touch and so corrupt that it's gross.
Yes, this,
and then they
the
merged
shop,
with
garbage.
Activision to form Activision
It is what it
Blizzard,
is.
and it was like the Power Rangers coming together to make a Megazord of pure filth. It'd be like combining dog shit and horse shit and then creating the ultimate pile of shit, which is Activision Blizzard.
And
That's an
Blizzard's leadership was
exaggeration,
also
but yeah.
ignoring the community's pleas for the sorts of games they actually wanted to play, or for the things they wanted to see in those games.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions?
I still agree with this point, though.
No.
Amen.
And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think
you do,
but you
don't.
Mesa Pandaria
Because
grabbed subscribers
once
so
TBC
hard
came
that it
out,
was still
Classic is
shocking,
dead.
even after
Once
Cataclysm
Wrath is
got
gonna
people
come out, right? Classic came out. Oh yeah, it was successful for the year and a half, 2 years, whatever. TBC came out. Classic is a dead game. Watch. Yeah, Wrath is gonna come out. It's gonna be garbage. Season of Mastery, dog shit. No one plays it. No one cares. Unless you make it a fun server, quote unquote, back in the day, with like 500 to 5,000% XP rate, right? Or just fuck it, start at level 60. Who cares? And make the bosses a lot more challenging. Throw in abilities. Fuck, throw affixes into the bosses. Who cares? The bosses are such a joke in Classic. Just throw like random shit in it. Make it like a Mythic plus 40-man raid. Maybe then people will enjoy it. Replaying all of Classic? Fuck that. You can't even make multiple characters on Classic. You make one or two and then you're like, fuck man, I don't want to level again. Because it takes forever. Right, even if you're like the master grinder, you play all day, unless you buy a mage boost. If you want to play level like a rogue or a paladin, which are like by far one of the slowest levelers, all you gotta do is either buy a mage boost or spend like a month leveling. Fuck that. Who wants to do that? I'll tell you who. Nobody. Make it a fun server, insane XP, throw in new abilities. Fuck it, I don't know. Balance the game, which is never gonna happen. Change the PvP rewards for something else. Add PvP rewards. Honestly, add the appearance tab. Add heirlooms, add appearance tab, something. But like the way vanilla was, in my opinion, it's kind of shit. And the Season of Mastery just proves it. No one wants to play it. TBC is out. Even TBC is dying. Right? Yeah, people are gonna play for the new raid. People clear the new raid. Fuck it, I'll wait for the next one. Wrath of Lich King come out, will be a major success. Up until ICC. ICC comes out, you clear it once. You start taking your breaks. Even honestly, before ICC comes out, you're gonna take massive breaks. Right? All this shit. Yeah, in my opinion, Classic, you think you do, but you don't. Why? Because in my opinion, it's not financially worth it for Blizzard to put in all that effort and development time, which might, by the way, be taking efforts from Retail WoW, which is why another reason why the Retail WoW is maybe dog shit and like they can't make up for the time. They can't make up the content for the amount of time they have because some of their devs are working on Classic. I don't know how they divide the forces, but Shadowlands is not doing too hot, and I can easily say Vanilla might have some to do with it, especially if Ian has to work on Vanilla as well as Retail, and he can barely do one of them. Right? So, waste of development power. If it's not profitable, it's a waste of fucking money. Okay? And then it's, in my opinion, very like, unless in those 2 years of Vanilla WoW that Vanilla came out, they made their money back for wasting their time on it, they're not gonna make their money back. Vanilla is overall pretty much dead. TBC is gonna die after as well. Wrath is gonna die as soon as possible, and I hope they don't go into Cataclysm and they just keep to Wrath. And in my opinion, they should keep cycling those three one after the other, but like once you have the regular server and then you have the fun server, don't like remake it as it is. In my opinion, people went into Classic only because of nostalgia. Not only, but like majority was because of nostalgia. People say like, oh, but I like Classic, I like Classic. Bullshit, you like Classic. You like to play one character. Give me a break. How many people have more than one character in Classic and TBC? No one. How many warlocks and hunters are there? Most of the player base. Why? Because they're overpowered. I want to see how many rogues are actually playing if they're not doing PvP. Right? You're playing a very niche aspect of the game and you're going to get tired of it very, very soon. And very, very fast. In my opinion, pretty fucking bad game. Let's say this. If Vanilla was released and it was not called World of Warcraft, no one would play it in this day and age. That's my take. If Vanilla or TBC was released, even Wrath in my opinion, if it was released and it did not have the name World of Warcraft, it was a completely brand new game and you didn't know anything about it, you would not play it. Simple as that. it would be, oh man, this game sucks, takes forever to level, the bosses are too easy, there is no content end game, it's just farming, wasting your mats, wasting wasting your mats for consumables, dying before you even got to use your consumables, world buffs and all that stuff. Garbage game design. Only reason it's good, it's World of Warcraft. Let's continue.
Used to the idea. While it only lost a few 100,000 in the first quarter, second quarter of this expansion really it led to a fall of 1.3 million subscribers, the game's largest yet.
Of course, no game developer is safe from criticism, but it seemed like the folks over at Blizzard thought they were beyond reproach. As if they'd been told they could do no wrong for so long, they actually started to believe it. And if you need any proof of that, look no further than the disaster that was the Diablo Immortal announcement.
Diablo Immortal. We are so excited about this game. If you want to know more, we'll be back here.
So first of all, the way he says it, I was just hearing it without looking at it, the way he says it, he doesn't believe in the product. He's like, we are so excited about this game. Like, you do not sound excited at all. Also, how long has it been since the announcement? It's been over 2 years, right? This is 2019. So it's been over 2 years. I know the beta was out recently, like half a year ago or some shit. I played it a bit. It's a fine game. In my opinion, Diablo Immortal is gonna be a fantastic mobile game. Fucking amazing. Especially if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time to be at home and play video games. It's gonna be a great game. Only problem is, they announced the BlizzCon as the main attraction, which is a very bad move by them. Should have announced Diablo 4, should have announced something else. Honestly, Warcraft Reforged, I mean, if they actually did it properly, would have been the main attraction if they did it right and put in the last thing. They could have thrown Diablo Immortal literally, briefly, like the second or third announcement. If there's let's say 6 announcements, but I don't know how many announcements, but it's like somewhere in the beginning or the middle. You do not finish with Diablo Immortal. That means, again, to his point, Blizzard doesn't know their audience if they thought Diablo Immortal was going to excite anyone.
On the Mythic stage in just a few minutes. For those of you who are here at BlizzCon, thank you. We are going to have... Sorry.
Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any,
to be fair, I like this guy. I watched him a few times afterwards. He's a cool guy. But technically, you can play all games on PC. Like all mobile games, you can play on PC with blue sticks. So it's not really... But I know what he means. Like, is there going to be a development for PC specifically, or do you have to use something like blue sticks or some shit?
The plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
You guys don't have phones? Oh my god, the best meme of the year. But yeah,
no one but Blizzard.
I mean,
franchise that redefined
to be
PC
honest, again, you can look at these guys. They don't look like they're super social savvy. They're kind of super awkward on the stage, right? And it's like they're being very defensive because the crowd is being very aggressive. I mean, again, they're representing the company, so it just doesn't look bad on the company. But I actually feel really bad for the 3 devs that were up there, and they clearly, it's their first social, on stage thing. You can look at, I don't know his name, Wu or something. Dude, he was so nervous. He didn't know what to say. It's he clearly wasn't prepped for this. He didn't have a, what's it called? Or even if he was, man, the stress just probably kept him blank or something. I actually feel really bad for the guy. I don't think anyone hates the guys who are up there. It's mostly hating Blizzard for that shenanigans.
RPGs weren't exactly interested in a mobile game. The whole thing felt like a slap in the face.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
I mean, you've got to know you f***ed up when people at your own convention are booing you, right? But things were about to get a lot worse for Blizzard. Back in 2016, a few years before the Diablo Immortal debacle, Blizzard announced its boldest undertaking yet, a multi-million-dollar professional esports league for one of its most popular titles, Overwatch. Fans could attend matches live in person or watch them on Twitch. When the league finally got underway in 2018, Blizzard was selling out their studio games, bringing in big-name talent from all over esports, and the people loved it. It looked like Blizzard did it again. But behind the scenes, things had already started to go sideways. In February 2019, Blizzard announced their record-breaking fourth quarter earnings, and in a shocking twist, a wave of mass layoffs to go along with those.
See, now I don't like massive layoffs. Obviously, it sucks because like right now I'm looking for a job and I know how annoying it is. But at the same time, they need to say which employees. Obviously, maybe they said in the article. I didn't read it, but like, you need to say which employees because first of all, yeah, record year and then you fired 100 employees doesn't look good. But then if the game sucks or there are problems with the games, you're gonna think it's like, oh, it's because they laid off 800 employees, right? So, and I'm sure honestly, they should have come up with a statement of like why they're letting people go. Even if it's not a good reason, at least it'll be justified. And it's like they're remorseful, whatever. The worst part is, after they fired the 800 employees, they were rehiring for the same positions at a lower salary. Common business tactic, but definitely bad PR.
Because there were signs things were a little bit weird, right? Where at the end of the first season, we had blown all of our, that we knew of, all of our viewership metrics out of the water. We were being told everything was going great. And then at the end of the year, they were like, and how would you like a pay cut too? And we're like, well, that's a little bit strange.
And it seemed like the same thing was happening over on Twitch's end.
I was not able to speak publicly about OWL while I worked at Twitch for obvious.
The points I'm making, by the way, even though it probably sounds like I defend Blizzard, I honestly I am not defending Blizzard. I am just giving the counter argument because overall, Blizzard fucked up. Their PR is shit. They did a lot of nasty shit. In my opinion, the games right now are in a very bad state and no one's taking care of it, or they're just dumping the games and moving on to the next one. My point is, some of the stuff is slightly either exaggerated or it's taking a bit out of context. So I'm trying to provide the context, but I'm definitely not defending Blizzard, or at least I have no intention to, but it might sound like it. I'm just trying to give a bit more reason to it. But in my opinion, just going forward, in my opinion, it's not a good company to work at. And I doubt it would change anytime soon. Even after Microsoft takes over, I highly doubt it will be like anytime soon. Like I said, I said before, I didn't say it here, but here I'm gonna say it now. I have absolutely zero hope that WoW 10.0 is gonna be good. My hope rests on 11.0, where at that point Microsoft would be in charge and maybe they would make the proper changes. But for all I know, 10.0 might actually be the last expansion for WoW if it goes the way Shadowlands did.
Reasons. But you better believe that I was the guy in every fucking meeting going, this is stupid and you're all stupid. It did not feel good. I'll tell you why it didn't feel good. Because that league cost a lot of fucking money, and a year later, 11 of my fucking staff was laid off.
Then, in 2020, Blizzard inked a 3-year deal with YouTube, tanking the league's viewership numbers in the process.
Dude, there's also a big chance that the OS League is just gonna die completely. Like that's a big chance. Yeah. And when I mean that, I mean 50K viewers.
The people that made that deal didn't understand the nuance of where a game lives as far as where people prefer to consume that game's content. And while I think that in an ideal world,
I would say the biggest problem with that move is not even that. The biggest problem with that move is it went to prove that Blizzard is a very greedy company. Multi-billion-dollar company is that greedy for the Overwatch views. And let's be real, compared to what they make a year, the Overwatch views were nothing, was chump change. It felt more like they're greedy and they're going after the people who play their game out of spite or something, as if they hate the players that play their game. There was absolutely no reason for them to still, I say still, but it's not really still, to prohibit other Twitch streamers from streaming the league, and it was exclusively on their Overwatch League channel. There was absolutely no reason, and in my opinion, Twitch should not have allowed it either.
Overwatch could have certainly grown on YouTube, and it has grown on YouTube. You know, it took time, but at the moment, that was a step back for sure.
Meanwhile, the game itself was increasingly plagued by bizarre balance issues, sending many of its most prolific pros into retirement or seeking opportunities elsewhere.
Well, Goats is dead, and now it's just double sniper, and that's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Or, oh, now everybody's just going to play McCree. And at a certain point, I'm like, what the hell do you people want?
So, in other words, you don't want him to eat all the ults in the game like D.Va.
No.
Yeah, makes sense.
There are these moments of regret that you have.
What the hell do people want? People want something that was in Mists of Pandaria, where every character can be overpowered. Make ultimates more overpowered, or make the characters that have not very strong ultimates do more damage outside of the ultimates. It's a give and take. Every ultimate, like not everyone, but it's like almost all characters should feel like they have a moment where they're overpowered. So when the stars align, they can fuck shit up. The respawn timer in Overwatch is extremely fast in my opinion. The objectives take substantially a long time. And right now you have massive, if you play like a regular game, you have one team completely dominating the other. It's never fucking balanced, like almost never. You have literally a steamroll team versus complete idiots, right? I'm usually on the idiot side. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But no matter what, the characters that you have in the game should have a moment where they feel overpowered. Or throw down, no, I don't like boosts on the map. I want to say like throw down boosts on the map that can like give you certain bonuses. Mainly for the, if a team is losing bad. But in my opinion, I'd rather lose a game stomped than like have a 30-minute losing game rather than like a 5-minute stomp. Obviously, I'm exaggerating on the times, but yeah. Anyways.
As a game developer. And perhaps eating everybody's ult is one of those.
Maybe this is gonna be a hot take. I think this shit is the worst thing to happen to Overwatch. This shit is up. It is not fun. It is not skill. It is fucking bullshit. It is dog shit. This is so bad. I don't know, because people are gonna say, oh, what about Brig Release? Or what about fucking Goats? Or no, this is so bad.
And all of those problems with Overwatch were only the tip of Blizzard's mounting issues. There was the highly controversial ban of Blitzchung, a Hearthstone player who voiced his support for the Hong Kong.
This, in my opinion, similar to Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, he should have been banned for at least a year or 2 years from participating. He should not voice his political opinion when he's participating in a sport. Now, in that regard, I think Blizzard should also not voice their political opinion when they're a fucking gaming company. I don't think anyone who does any sport should voice their opinion inside that sport. Blitzchung can voice his opinions outside of participation in games. I'm totally fine with it. When you're technically, this is his job, you should not voice your opinion. If you go, like, let's say you have a normal job, okay? And you go there to the offices, right? It's like, oh, you know, everyone's chilling on their computer, and you just out of nowhere come into the office with a massive sign, Free Hong Kong, BLM. Doesn't matter. Me as an employee, as an employer, would be like, bro, you're fired. This has nothing to do with the job. You're just distracting people from their work. You're just taking time. You're taking attention, and you will also increase dispute between coworkers. You're literally here to separate coworkers. This is not a healthy work environment. Get the fuck out. Same here. All he did was, let's say like this: if Blizzard didn't do anything, you would have even more problems than if they did do something. Because then every event, if he didn't get punished, every event, you would have some dumb political message. Imagine what would have happened during BLM riots with every fucking, with every fucking streamer. I support BLM. Bro, I don't give a shit. I'm here to watch a game, okay? I'm watching a game. I don't need world politics in it. Same thing here. In my opinion, revoke his prize, get the fuck out, or give him his money, but like you're never participating again. And also, the two announcers, if they knew, after investigation, if they knew this was going to happen, and in my opinion they did, but I didn't investigate, they should also be fired for allowing it to happen. What their responsibility is for this to not happen, if he starts doing it, they cut him off. That's it. This is a place of business. It has nothing to do with political agenda. And as much as I agree with his message of Free Hong Kong, not in business. You're a public figure. Do it on your Twitch stream. Do it anywhere else. Put your money where your mouth is. Go support. I don't give a shit. Not during competition. I'm here to watch games. I'm not here to listen to political messages.
Protesters during an official Blizzard stream.
Activision Blizzard. It has suspended a gamer and taken his prize money away because he made comments supporting Hong Kong protesters.
Then there was the disaster that was Warcraft.
See, the way the news anchor said it, because he was supporting Hong Kong protesters. No, because he was delivering a political message during a game. Frame it right. It doesn't matter what the message is, even if it's right, even if it's wrong. It doesn't matter, right? Imagine some guy comes up onto the stage, right, during a fucking tournament, and he's like, Hitler did nothing wrong. I'm a Jew, by the way, just so you know. So like, I'm not agreeing with Hitler, okay? I hate the guy. But all I'm saying is, imagine some guy comes up on stage and be like, oh, Hitler did nothing wrong. Fuck you do with that person? Are you gonna fire him? Probably. Why? Because of what he said? Because of why he's saying it, not what he's saying. No political messages. Fuck.
Reforged. The game looked, sounded, and handled worse than its older predecessor. Blizzard's famous commitment to quality was nowhere to be found. And competitively, a match between Thorzane and Moon at DreamHack Anaheim 2020 had to be restarted 3 times because the game was just that broken.
We have no Breath of Fire, by the way. It is Drunken Haze, so big mischance on these Dragonhawks at this point.
I'm gonna assume Thorzane dropped, but I feel like Moon was on the way to holding this attack. Ooh.
Ooh, wow.
I don't need a Blood Mage, I don't need you. You're benched.
Once this...
And looks like another drop.
So, the games went to shit, Overwatch League was basically dead in the water, everybody thought that Blizzard was China's puppet. Surely things couldn't get worse. But as it turned out, Blizzard was about to hit a new low. On July 20th, 2021, after a 2-year investigation, the state of California filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard. In this lawsuit, multiple women who either used to or still worked at the company came forward, alleging sexual harassment, abuse, discrimination, unfair wages, and more.
The agency alleges that male employees play video games during the workday while delegating responsibilities to female employees, engage in sexual banter, and joke openly about rape, among other things.
Not to agree to that behavior. However, the question is, if they're joking and bantering, even honestly, depends how bad the rape joke is. Some of them are, in my opinion, whatever you want. If they're doing it during work hours, and it's like distracting people, making them, lose focus, stuff like that. Well, honestly, even without it, in my opinion, that shouldn't be in the workplace, okay? Joking and stuff like that is fine, but it should be very light, kind of lighten the mood and keep going. If it clearly makes people uncomfortable, you probably wouldn't do it, like a bit of social acuity, okay? If they were doing it during their breaks, in the cafeteria, in the bar, whatever, in my opinion, they can do whatever the fuck they want. I don't care.
So they're making the girls do all of the work while they...
Oh, and obviously I don't agree if they made the girls do all the work while they're playing video games, okay? Like that's I don't agree with that, that's for sure.
They talk about rape and harassing them.
Many of these instances were allegedly reported to supervisors and higher-ups at the company, and yet no action was taken. To say that the gaming community was appalled and outraged would be a huge understatement.
Since I've been employed at Blizzard, I've been subjected to rude comments about my body, unwanted sexual advances, inappropriately touched, subjected to alcohol-infused team events and cube crawls, invited to have casual sex with my supervisors, and surrounded by a frat boy culture that's detrimental to women.
One person who is named in this suit is Alex Afrasiabi, former senior creative director for World of Warcraft, who was permitted to engage in blatant sexual harassment with little to no repercussions. He was so known to engage in harassment of females that his suite was nicknamed the Cosby Suite, after alleged rapist Bill Cosby. How does a nickname like that come about? A nickname that...
How does the nickname come about? Honestly, that's a hard one. However, back when this was happening is before the lawsuits against Cosby. I think it's like a year or 2 years before. The only thing that was, there were rumors, but everyone knew Cosby was getting hussy. Now, no one knew it was not, I would say majority people did not know that it was in an illegal way. But that can be why. Their excuse is something about a rug. But I can see the dark humor in it. But let's just say it like this. No one in that group, I'm not defending it, and this is like, I don't think it's an appropriate name regardless. No one in that group, though, knew Bill Cosby was a rapist. Now, there might have been rumors which led to the naming, which is very bad taste. Or it might have been like a super dark joke because it's a place where the guys go and have fun with women and everyone there is intoxicated, which goes to the whole like alleged rape. Either way, not appropriate, but I can see it being called that way without necessarily saying that they rape women there. Also, let alone a lot of the women that went there were not drugged out like Cosby's women were, allegedly. Actually, no, not allegedly. He was convicted, then released, but convicted regardless. So he did admit to it. So in that regard, as far as I know, the women that they had sex with there were, in a sense, starstruck by who they're talking to, and more likely than not, were willingly having sex with the devs who make the games they love. Not saying, again, very bad coincidences, but more likely than not, they're not serial rapists. They just had a lot of booze in there and they had sex with women.
everybody knows about, and the guy remains employed.
Needless to say, internally, Activision Blizzard had some serious changes they needed.
That being said, Farsiabi should have been fired long before.
To make. But rather than a total overhaul of a deeply flawed company culture, they simply opted for a change in ownership.
Microsoft bought out Blizzard/Activision. Honestly, this is like some like Disney level entertainment monopoly type shit. It's reported that the acquisition was for $70 billion.
You're basically comparing a known negative thing, right? Which is like Blizzard Activision, owned by Bobby Kotick, the fucking worst guy in the world, is on Epstein's black book, and you know they fire people and they're drinking their breast milk, and so it's like we know what that is. You know what I mean? Like we know what that is, and so now we're going into like completely unknown.
While it might seem that a tech monolith like Microsoft would swoop in and restore order.
Doesn't Microsoft have some lawsuits on its belt too about sexual harassment and shit? And again, my opinion, I would say, more likely than not, all American based, and not even American, all Western based gaming companies, if they were made in the early 2000s, I would say have, based on today's standards, sexual harassment type behavior in them. Main reason is because the guys who worked there or founded it were more likely than not major fucking nerds and had no social skills, especially talking to women. And then they come off as weird, and then they make inappropriate comments because they saw it in a book or some shit, and they have absolutely no social acuity to know what the fuck they should be telling women. I'm a great example. I didn't know what the fuck to tell the women. Honestly, to this day, I don't know, so I don't even bother, okay? But for the most part, if you've seen the stereotypical nerds on TV in like the 1990s to early 2000s, you would know they have absolutely no idea how to talk to women. The shift, I believe, changed during Big Bang Theory. When Big Bang Theory came out, nerds suddenly became cool. And then with streaming, and then like nerds are making a lot of money because they're good at games, and now you have nerd female players, right? It became cool to be a nerd. Before that, it was the jocks that were cool. Obviously, later on, they're balding fat men, but whatever. But you had the stereotype of nerds, and in my opinion, and it's a pretty solid opinion because I've been going out a lot in my early 20s, and people my age that you could see that they were nerds did not know what the fuck to do in social environments. In my opinion, guys who really got into making video games and artists and shut in, basically people who were shut in playing video games all day, had absolutely no idea how to converse. And that's why Blizzard, when it just started, had almost, and I believe no, female employees in the development section. They're all dudes, they're all geeks. And if they when they start putting females there, that's when sexual harassment started. I'm not blaming the women, but the people who worked there were nerds and had no idea how to talk to women, and that's when it started. And then they see one guy doing something and they try to imitate it, and it turns into chaos.
They're leaving things the same for now. The people most responsible for the alleged behavior at Activision Blizzard are still going to be in charge for the foreseeable future. On top of that, Microsoft doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to absorbing other companies and making them work. Let's not forget what happened to Mixer. Look, none of us know how this deal is actually going to work out in the end. But in the meantime, belief in Blizzard's integrity continues to sink amidst public scrutiny and ridicule.
It's really sad to see leadership kind of mishandle these situations over and over again. So I think a lot of people are just tired in that regard too. You know, I just feel like when the news of the lawsuit broke, I just kind of relived all of that at once. Like, I feel like it just kind of like, I just got so angry, like, wow, I lived through all of this, and here are the leaders at my company that I'm working for now saying that this doesn't happen here because I know it does, you know? So then I was just like, that's unacceptable, and we should own it and try to do better. That's what taking accountability and leading responsibly is.
There's no doubt that the old Blizzard is dead, and it's never coming back. But where does that leave us going forward?
All of this is awful to hear about, and it's completely normal to feel hurt and betrayed and disgusted, especially from a company like Blizzard that many people still idolized.
I just have to say, she has sick tattoos. That's actually like pretty cool tattoos all over. Like it's technically a sleeve, but it's not really a sleeve because there's so many gaps. But those are really cool tattoos.
And aspired to. It's hard to stomach continuing to give them a sub fee or publicity when they've let this happen, especially considering their responses. On the other hand, I'm not convinced right now that boycotting Blizzard is going to be a direct help to the women that work there. For one, because a lot of those women still work there, and
I believe it would be. I believe it would be because then they are forced to change. If you're not boycotting them, you're basically telling them that, hey, what you did is wrong, but I'm kind of okay with it. Here's my money. Right? That money, like, don't forget, when Blizzard had the most support, that's when they fired 800 employees. You really think that if you keep giving them money, because like, here's the thing, right? If you stop giving them money, they have two problems. One, like they might need to fire people, right? But it's like, okay, that's a very bad solution because that's even worse PR. It's like, well, now they're just firing employees. So it's like, you know, even more problems, right? And no one would even think that's like they're firing employees because of like lack of money. They think they're firing employees out of spite, and because these people were the problematic ones. By the way, the victims were the problematic ones because they're the ones complaining, not the ones doing the deed, right? For Blizzard. So I highly doubt they would fire anyone, right? That's the first thing. It's like if you don't give them money, they would be forced to, as soon as possible, reform, change policies, change the work environment, change a lot of things, maybe increase salaries, because they would want to retain as much as possible and just make sure that people are doing a good job, because they would need to shift their PR as fast as possible because no one wants to do business with them. However, and look at shareholders, a lot of them backed out. Why? And that actually helps, right? That helps the company to be better. Like they need to be punished financially because that's all they care about, right? Their greed is their weakness. Now, if you give them money, though, all you're doing is like, well, there's no rush to fix this. I mean, people are still buying our shit, all right? So yeah, boycotting Blizzard, in my opinion, is by far the best thing. Now, overall, I am against boycotting if it's a person. Boycotting companies is great. Boycotting individuals is a very bad thing because then individuals turn into like drugs and shit like that, and like bad company. Companies cannot do that. Companies will have to reform or they're going to be out of business. Boycotting, in my opinion, was the only real solution.
And have worked very hard on these properties.
I look at Blizzard like a dearly loved relative that is going through a very dark time, and you can't accept and condone some of the things they do, but deep down you still love them because they're family, and you wish the best for them, and you'll be there to help them out if they let you, you know. And so that's kind of how I view the whole thing.
At the end of the day, Blizzard isn't just inept leadership and allegedly horrible internal behavior. It's a company that has been vastly important to gaming as a whole, and that continues to employ thousands of people who are passionate about what they do. Blizzard gave us more than just their games. They helped us form some of our most precious childhood memories. Unfortunately, despite all the love and respect it once commanded, Blizzard is now also a glaring example of just how far even our most revered idols can fall.
Well, again, at this point, can you really call it Blizzard? Most of the people who founded Blizzard don't even work there anymore. In my opinion, Blizzard kind of stopped being Blizzard as soon as it became Activision Blizzard, right? And honestly, probably slightly before, because you could see the shift in Wrath of the Lich King, and I believe Activision purchased them during Cataclysm or End of the Lich King. So you could actually see the changes already in Wrath before the Activision Blizzard takeover. Though at the same time, the deals might have been happening in the background, which then they asked them to do certain changes before the acquisition, which could have been Activision all along, for all we know, right? So yeah, either way, I think it's a good video overall, but it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's the, I mean, yeah, you can say how Blizzard died, but it's like you should have ended with like Activision Blizzard purchased them and that's it. But overall, pretty good video, kind of like a summary of everything that happened, a bit of like, I want to say biased-ish, right? It only portrays like the bad, and there's a lot of bad, don't get me wrong, but doesn't give a lot of context or like counter arguments. It just portrays this is bad and that's it. Like there's nothing else to it, especially like in my opinion, the political one was probably the worst one. In my opinion, shouldn't have been an example. No, sorry, the worst one was the woman that says like, why are all the female characters looking like Victoria's Secret models? Good, let them be. And honestly, make gnomes hotter too, because shit's disgusting. I don't want to watch that shit. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. That's all I have to say about this matter. And I think what's his name? Alan? What was his name? The previous CEO, the one that just quit. Something Alan. I don't remember his name. Whatever. Something Allen. I think it was right. You think you do, but you don't. In my opinion, Classic is trash. And fight me, bro. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, you know, the YouTube stuff. And I'll catch you all on the next one.